Hello and welcome to the Mixtape Podcast. I am your host, Mark, and every week we'll take a deep dive into my guests' inspirations and influences by asking them to make up an imaginary 6-track mixtape. There are over 120 archive episodes. The mixtapepodcast.com is your one-stop shop for all of those episodes, my YouTube channel, and it'd be great to catch up with you on social media as well. Don't forget, if you enjoy this episode, to give us a like, a share, or a follow wherever you listen to your podcasts. And I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this very special edition of the Mixtape. Let me sort of set the scene and give sort of a little bit of background information to people who are listening. So I'm here in Vietnam on holiday, Ho Chi Minh City, and earlier on this week I was out shopping, 7-Eleven, looking at the beers in the fridge, and Cara noticed some lovely craft beers in the fridge at 7-Eleven from the Mixtape Beverage Company, and that sort of obviously got my interest, and I bought a couple. And they were delicious. And I did a little bit more research, and I found that there is an actual establishment, a bar, restaurant, right here in Ho Chi Minh called Mixtape Drinks. That's where we are right now. So we came for dinner and a few drinks the other night. Got chatting to Chad, who's the owner. And then a few days later, I just sort of thought to myself, what a great idea it would be if I managed to grab Chad for 20 minutes, half an hour, and do a mixtape with him as the owner and proprietor of Mixtape Drinks and the Mixtape Beverage Company.
It's a mass made.
It is, absolutely. We're sitting here, we're talking about my two favourite things, craft beer and music. It's absolutely perfect for me. Now, what could go wrong? So let me sort of set the scene for you as well. So we're sitting at the sort of front window of your bar restaurant and looking out on the street. It's a very, very stormy evening.
Yeah.
It's pretty,
For a rainy season,
Yeah.
this rainy season was very dry.
Yeah.
But just last few days, and it rains right at prime drinking time. Well, it brings a little bit coolness to the air.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we're on a busy street. We're looking out. It's a lovely night. Sampled a few mixtape beers already, which is always good. So welcome to the show, Chad Mitchell. How are you, mate?
I'm good.
Thanks so much for making the time. I know you're a really, really busy man. So thanks for coming on the show.
Busy doing God's work. Selling or introducing people to crap.
That's it, mate. That's it. That's the way to do it. So first of all, just give us a little bit of your sort of like origin story. Like, tell us a little bit about, you sort of early years in California, and, how you sort of got into sort of craft beer and brewing in general.
So I was born and raised in Northern California. Actually, weirdly enough, I was born in San Jose, California, which is like Little Saigon. There's like so many Vietnamese. You tell there are 3 cities in America, you say San Jose, California, or Orange County, not a city, but a county, and then Houston. That's where all the Vietnamese communities are. So weirdly enough, by some weird coincidence, I was born in San Jose. And then my parents moved up to Santa Rosa and lived further north, about an hour north of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And I lived there for most of my childhood years, and then my parents moved a bit further north, but I stayed mostly in the Bay Area.
Yes.
And it's a crazy story, but like I worked in tech, and then I moved on. I did that for a long time, but I always had like a passion for music and a passion for drinks.
Yeah. Actually, same, likewise.
Yeah. And when I was a little kid, I was that person, that weirdly nerdy kid who would like, my siblings still to this day tease me. They're like, "Oh, Chad, there's a new drink at 7-Eleven or something. And like, you're going to buy it because it's blue or green." I'm like, I'm in. Like my parents used to have to take out of my closet. I would keep all the bottles and cans of different, Surge, if you're Cola, I had a beer, drink called Orbits, so it's natural progression from there to other things. But from there, I really loved just the variety of flavor in drinks. I love food too, but like drinks were my thing.
So you told us a really a good story earlier about your introduction to craft beer and sort of the venue that you used to go to and listen to and play punk music.
For me, it's like I always say this, and it kind of baffles people because I have it says beverage company, it doesn't say beer company. I like you caught that thing.
Yeah.
I don't like beer, and by that I mean I don't like what everyone thinks is beer. Like, the reality is beer has a varied and amazing history, as I have now become a beer nerd. It's the oldest recipe, written recipe on earth, is full of beer.
Yeah.
From Samaria, the coffee, the goddess of beer, is written to her. And it's affected the entire world. But before all that, before I knew any of that, I really didn't like beer. I thought beer was Coors Light, but and those are just whatever. I would drink them with my friends. Like, fine, I'll drink some beer.
Yeah.
Not fun. Like, cool. I'm just crushing as many as I can, quantity, not quality. But I grew up in Northern California where there's a lot of wine. So a lot of great wine. And also, America has some really good bourbon. I like Irish whiskeys. I like bourbon. I like Scotch. I like complexity. I like finesse. Or not finesse, but like the finer things and the really subtle flavors that can be imparted from that. So I used to hang out a lot with a lot of my friends worked in wine. So I would constantly be trying great wines, some of the best wines in the world. I remember my first bottle of wine was probably $100 bottle of wine. Yeah. I was very spoiled. You know, like your friends say, hey, try this. I'm like, oh my God, that's a $100 bottle of wine. I'm like, okay, tasted like, at that point, I was like, tasted grapes. But I thought it was awesome. And I thought there was so much complexity. And I really didn't like beer. Then I was living in downtown Santa Rosa, which is home to one of the world's most famous breweries. But before they were that, they opened up a little brewery in downtown Santa Rosa, a town of 300,000 people, because the main brewer, the very famous person named Vinny, and his wife Natalie, they wanted to start doing beer before beer was cool. That bar was like an old English pub. They had like old English pub beers. It's the Goblin one, the Greek Goblin. Yeah. And they were fine, but the main thing was the thing was that was the one place in downtown Santa Rosa because full of wine stocks, which is good and bad. I said great wine, but also, those people were like, oh, we should listen to, quiet jazz and blues. And my friends are into punk rock and like hardcore and like whatever, everything else. So that bar, the old Vic, would always have local bands play. It doesn't matter what you play, like punk rock, thrash, whatever. And so it was a great place. But then this developer came in and bought that strip out, kicked everybody out. So me and my friends were like, well, we will never, ever go there. Whatever goes in there next, we're going to boycott it. We're going to teach these people what's up. F capitalism, blah, blah, blah. Can I swear on this podcast?
You can swear.
I'll
bleep it out for the radio show, but I can leave it in on the podcast.
All right. So, anarchy, blah, blah. I mean, whatever, but we were having fun. We like that place. This really sucks. And so one of the first places to move in there was a little brewery called Russian River Brewery. And they moved in there and we're like, well, we'll never go there because like, what's snobby? What's craft beer? What is that? I don't think it was called craft beer. It's called microbrewery. Like there's a little brewery by Vinny was the head brewer there. He's actually a wine. His family is heavy in wine. So he actually took that brand out of another winery and said, I'm going to keep focusing on beer. And people thought he was crazy. Yeah. And so he was doing Belgian styles, IPAs, all this stuff. But anyways, that meant nothing to me. And the only thing that got us interested was that every Sunday they would do $10 pitchers and $6 pizza bites. So our ethics were challenged.
Absolutely.
So we would show up, we'd take over the big table, they had one big round table in the back, and we would just drink until we couldn't stand anymore on Sundays. Yeah. And I was so amazed by how good the beer was. And I started being curious. It's like, all right, I don't like beer, but this is actually pretty interesting. It's okay. And my friend, as I was really getting into it, I was like, oh, I like this Belgian style beer. I like the softness and the great beer. And then my friend was like, oh, by the way, he's a beer snob. He's like, do you smell the beer? It smells like bananas. And I don't like bananas. And it ruined the experience for me. So 2 things I learned from that is like, let people enjoy, especially new experience. Yeah. Be careful what you say. Whenever I'm doing a beer tasting now, I'm always careful. Like, careful not to, like, the power of suggestion is really powerful. So if I tell you your beer smells like dirty gym socks, that's happened to me in a tasting before. Yeah. It ruins the experience for everybody else.
It's like when you hear a song and it's like a misheard lyric, someone says to you, is that, and then you cannot hear it any other way after that.
Yeah, the rest of your life, that's all you hear.
Yeah.
And actually coming back to mixtapes too, it's like, they used to like try to record the songs off the radio.
Yeah.
So to this day, I still have songs that like, this song doesn't start that way. It should have like Spice Girls before Offspring. It's like a weird.
Or a song ends and you're expecting another song to start. Yeah.
Like there is an Offspring song. It's one of the last songs in their album to Smash. And it's like, my recording was like cut short by like, it was a 30-second song. So I thought that song is not 30 seconds. I didn't know that. Until I bought the CD years later. And I was like, this song is really long. Where's that Izzy?
You're listening to the mixtape.
So that's how you got sort of into sort of craft beer.
It's where the interest began.
Yeah, where your interest began.
It's where it began.
So what brought you to Vietnam and Ho Chi Minh and starting the Mixtape Beverage Company?
So from there to here is a really wild story because it doesn't really add up. Like I worked in tech and then I did writing for bands in the city. And like I wrote like music festivals, Treasure Island Music Festival, Noise Pop, all that stuff in San Francisco. And I love writing. I like creating, but I always had to make money. So I worked in tech.
Yeah.
And then, but in the meantime, I started getting really into, I actually kept pursuing my knowledge of whiskey. I still prefer whiskey over anything. Like good whiskey is so complex and so subtle. But I started thinking about how whiskey is made. And that was really, I watched this movie, short documentary, like it's called Whiskey, I think. And it was like just about the process to make whiskey. And I was like, wait a minute. They make really cheap beer and they distill that and make whiskey this good. What if you took a craft beer, turned that into whiskey? So it's something on this path. Like I am going to be like someday, hopefully I'm like 90 years old, I'm finally going to turn some of my beers into whiskey. And it's going to be expensive AF because craft beer is not cheap. Yeah. But I was like, what if the original garbage in, garbage out? What if we put it in high quality stuff and then age them? So sent me on this crazy path. And I've been chasing the world, traveling around the world, trying to taste all the beers I could. Like my Untapped, I stopped using Untapped because it was getting too high of a level. They gave me warnings like, are you okay?
Just for anyone who's not familiar, explain to people what Untapped is.
It's a nerdy, like it's like Pokemon trading cards. Like you put all of your beer collections that you've tried into an app and rate them. Yeah. But we're on there and I do please rate our beer. But it's also very much like don't ever. So some people rate every beer they drink, which I'm like, wait a minute. I only rate my unique beers and it was getting too high. So so yeah, anyway, sitting on that path and then I started brewing about 16 years ago. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I want to make something. I love creating things. I was still working in tech, but I was about to leave the country. I lived abroad once before in Taiwan. I didn't want to travel again, but I was like, I want to still learn how to make beer before I leave so that when I go to these countries and I have good beer, I can make beer for myself. Yeah. So that was kind of where it began. And again, I was like, I want to try this new whiskey someday, but I can start making beer. And I started playing with like homebrew kits and I just started thinking about it. Awesome. Fermentation was like, it like intrigued me more. I got more nerdy about it. And I started really like obsessively like researching the topic. I was reading all the books. I was talking to my friends who do beer. I was meeting I would go to every brewer I met and be like, hey, what's the secret? What do you do? Like, what's the, like, and I was just like, and I'm pretty lucky since I was a kid. I have a really sensitive nose. And so I have a very like sensitive palate. So like I can't walk through soap aisles at stores. I just can't. So anyways, so long story short or longer, I left the United States again when I have a daughter and she was 1 year old when we started traveling around the world. And every country I was in, we were doing this around the world trip. And every time we stopped, my ex would always ask me, she'd, why do you drink this really cool Airbnb? But I noticed there's a brewery nearby. And I'm like, oh, what? I didn't meet too. We're in the middle of nowhere in Malaysia. How did you find a brewery? I'm like, or a tap room. Like, shit, this is cool Airbnb, but I'm confused. Yeah. So, but in every country I go to, I have friends around the world. So, hey, do you want to quickly do a homebrew kit, brew some stuff? And basically that long story longer, when I finally lived in Phuket, Thailand, I was homebrewing all the time. I had an outdoor kitchen, my beach villa pool house, doing digital nomad. Life was excellent. And my ex would always find me in the garage next door designing bottle cappers and like brewing equipment. She's like, why are you doing this? We have the best life. You're working part-time. You're traveling on the world. Why do you want to do this? I was like,
it's your passion. Exactly. So, that's why I do this. That's why I'm sitting here right now.
Exactly. You got to keep those things going, those hobbies, you know? And she'd always say, like, this is a hobby. Is this one of your hobbies? Like, I have a lot of hobbies. I'm not going to lie. I'm a sailor. I'm a diver. You name it. I've probably tried it. Snowboarder, you know. But this one was always stuck with me. I was like, I really like it. And I was talking so much about it, like I'm doing now, that I met a guy who was starting a business of craft beer. And basically, we introduced the first IPAs to Asia like 13 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, like 12, 13 years.
Awesome. As far as like Mixtape Beverage Company goes, what made you choose the name Mixtape?
So the original name for my brewery was actually Broken Arrow. Yeah. So I have a significant part of my lineage is Native American. I'm a pacifist. So I was like, Broken Arrow, no war.
Yeah.
But I realized that like, I was like, oh, it's going to be, and I started looking at the logo and I was like, this is very much craft beer. And to be honest, like, no offense to any of us, craft beer is a bit, it was so cool for a while. And right when I started Mixtape 5 years ago, I was like, I feel like Broken Arrow is still too similar to a lot of other brands. What if I want to go a totally different direction? And craft beer for me also, part of growing up in Northern California, where we have a brewery called Marksits. If I've heard of them, they're a big brewery. I used to hang out with those guys, and they always did the craziest parties. Like they did a circus, they did a carnival. They didn't follow the rules, and that's what craft beer for me is. Like it's like a break the rules thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it. My favorite color is pink. I'm a punk rock kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna call I love mixtapes because like I was like, I can't make music, but I can share my love. My creativity is in craft. Yeah. So this is my mixtape to everybody, and it's gonna go wild different directions. So it's a perfect name. So
Perfect. That is great.
yeah.
I had no idea pink was your favorite color when I put this shirt up tonight. But yeah,
Didn't we all build these pink?
do you know why I'm wearing this? Because the one I was wearing got wet in the rain earlier on. That's why I'm wearing this one.
It was paid, my friend.
Exactly right. Exactly right. All right. So in terms of like your beers, Chad, here at Mixtape, talk us through some of your favorites. What are yours? So give us your top 3
Of my beer?
Yes, of yours.
For me, the beers I make, I have a hard time being actually happy with my beer.
Yeah.
And for years, I kept thinking about starting a brewery, and my friends would be like, hey, man, like, this beer is awesome. This beer is awesome. I'm like, but is it as good as West Live Herring 12? Is it good as Russian River? Is it good as Lagunitas?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Feral. Like,
Yeah.
is it there? I sold, originally in Thailand, I distributed a bunch of beer from Australia, from Europe, from US.
Yeah.
Some of the best in the world. That's true. That's Stone, Rogue.
Yeah.
And I was like, my beer doesn't match up.
Yeah.
But like art, but it's my art. And I feel like, my favorite beer I've ever made to this day is still Peaches and Cream. It's the first beer. It's the first beer that I made for Thanksgiving 6 years ago. And I made the first batch for my daughter. She poured the hops in it. And she was like, Dad, I want you to know something. I'm never going to drink beer. I was like, cool. Darn. Oh, shucks. Please do. Please do. Yeah. But she helped me make the beer. And I gave it to my friends for Thanksgiving. You're in Vietnam. Everyone's like, Chad, you've talked about this long enough. Mm-hmm. This is the best beer we've ever made. Do this. Release this beer. I was like, I don't know. It's like 75% on my scale. Yeah, maybe 80. And that's pretty good, I guess, for me. Yeah. But then everyone's like, dude, you're never going to be happy. Just do it. Yeah. So I released it, and it sold out instantly. Like, our batch was gone.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. I have something here. Mm-hmm. So that beer is going to always be if it ever is not popular, I'll stop playing it.
Yeah. You're right.
Exactly. Yeah. So that one's great. I think the second most proud beer I've made is a beer called Molly. It's I call it an Irish stout. I also call it a milk stout.
I know someone who was pretty keen on that. Yeah.
We're sold out. Really sorry. We're sold out. So that beer doesn't move fast. Stouts don't. So every time I make a beer, I try to challenge myself.
Yeah.
So Peaches and Cream, I challenge myself. Can I make a West Coast IPA, a dry, delicious IPA, but have a East Coast aroma and a easy to drink profile? So that's the idea. That's it. So Molly, my challenge was, how do I make, I've been distributing beer in Asia for 12 plus years. And I was like, how do I make a stout? Stouts don't sell in Asia that you want to drink in Asia. It's too hot. Like you want to drink in the cold temperatures. You want to drink big, and I like big stouts. I love Guinness. I also love big Imperial Russian stouts. I like big flavors. They don't move fast in Asia. It's too hot. I always also, 2 things. I give myself 2 rules. How can I make something that's a classic style, but do it with a unique twist? And secondly, can I do it without using adjuncts? Try to avoid chocolate, coffee, fruit. Like, I'm perfectly happy to use those. It makes sense.
Yeah.
So for Molly, I said, I need to make a beer that has a character of a big stout, but using, I want to have coffee and chocolate. I want it to be like Irish coffee, whiskey and coffee. I was like, I want it to taste like that, but I don't want those things in that. And so it's actually the most complex hop malt bill in my entire catalog. There's 8 malts. Great. And I found a malt that smells like coffee. Found some malt that's chocolatey. And then the other ones are just adding color and depth. And so I'm really proud of it. It's 4.4%. Also, trying to make it as low ABV as I could. Yeah. So you enjoy it in hot weather.
Yeah.
So it's 4.4 and it's full of flavor. That beer still, amongst my brewer friends, you're always like, dude, that beer. It's brewer's beer though. Like, it's not for everyone. I'm like, yeah, but brewer's like, oh, dude, that's, I'm like, yeah, it's. So I'm proud of that beer. The third one, probably the one we're drinking right now.
Yeah.
I've always tried. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah.
All these beers.
One more milkshake, please. Yeah. You all right? Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah.
All these beers are named after music. So every Zero beer, it doesn't have to be the name.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah. Right.
So
yeah.
Peaches and Cream. There's no peaches, no cream.
Yeah.
It's a song by Beck.
Yeah.
The artist from, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. But he's interesting fellow. He's made amazing music.
Yeah.
His weird album where he's like funk.
Yeah.
Soul album. And his song called Peaches and Cream on there.
Yeah.
And when I made the beer the first time, I was like slightly tipsy when I was tasting. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I was like, oh, peaches and cream. And I was like, it smells like peaches.
Yeah.
So people were like, why did you make a beer as a peak plate logo with a peach and a cream? There's no peaches, no cream. Poor life choices. But also like, it's funny because everyone's talking about what a bad idea. I'm like, wait, everyone's talking about it? Create a conversation. Yeah. Everyone thing you can do to sell things is create conversations. So I was like, great, we're talking about it. So let me teach people like, how amazing this is. So fast forward to my milkshake. Molly also has a song title as well. It's Molly Malone by the Dubliners. So the third one though is my milkshake. So my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Damn right.
It brought me to your yard, then tell you, Chad. For people listening, the milkshake is the easiest drinking 8.2% I've ever had in my life, to the point where it's probably dangerous and should carry some sort of warning because it's so easy to drink. I've had 8-9% beers before and you can taste that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? You cannot in that. It is just it's like a session.
Yeah.
Like IPA. Like it's so easy to drink.
Something I love is like alcohol is a flavor. And I truly believe in like whatever I do is I'm always looking at like, I just look at like the flavor profile I want. And I'm like, well, the ABV kind of writes itself because, like for this kind of flavor and for the kind of things that go in there, I'm like, I need to bring alcohol because it's too much sweetness and alcohol is a bit of a burn. So hot folks. So bring that up. Also, alcohol has bitterness too. So you got to bring the hops out. And then this one, we use a tiny bit of lactose. That's why I call it milkshake. Just a little bit of lactose to kind of round out the edges. But
amazing. I'm a little bit devastated. Before we start recording, I asked you if it's available for takeaway and you said no. This is it. When it is, let me know. I'm coming back in 6 months.
Okay. All right.
That's your deadline.
Yes.
All right. Okay. All right.
You're listening to The Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. Let's get into your mixtape tracks, mate. Okay, so track one of your mixtape, if you were making up a mixtape, Chad, and you were wanting to kick it off in good style, attention grabber, what track would you picture?
Oh, I grew up loving like just rock, and then I got really into hip hop, and then eventually did drugs and like electronic music, Refused. Shade of Punk to Come. The intro is just like a little, like really tight little like riff on one string, and it's just like, and then when it hits, you're just like, whoa.
Track two of your mixtape, Chad, is when you are on your own in the car or the shower, what do you like to let loose with, mate?
So this is a funny one, but every time, I don't smoke cigarettes, but every time I go through a breakup or something big in my life, I smoke a cigarette, and I drive down the road as fast as I can, and I listen to White Snakes, Here I Go Again.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's like, White Snake? I'm like, dude, I gotta have this album on my own, because that song, Here I Go Again on my own, like, the drum solo.
Yeah. What's your favourite cover version, mate? Track three.
Ooh. Actually, it's not very Australian thing. The Alt J or...
Yeah, I know.
They have their, like, a version.
Yeah. So, Triple J, you mean? Yeah.
Triple version. I was turned on to my friend of mine. He's like, dude, you gotta watch this. Like, the best covers ever. Because, like, bands just, like, kicking random songs.
Yeah.
And so there's a cover. I forget the artist who covered it. It was the cover of Death Cab for Cutie. I Will Follow You.
Yes.
Follow you when it's dark. And then,
is it Halsey and Youngblood?
Yes. He's having a moment.
He's on the rise. Like, yeah.
Cover. Like, generally, I think covers are generally,
Yeah.
I say that, and of course, Hurt by Nine Inch Nails by Johnny Cash.
A very common response to that question is, obviously, Hurt by Johnny Cash. But apart from that, this is my choice. Like, exactly what you just did, and that comes up so often.
Okay.
All right. Track 4, Chad. What's a song you wish you could play to your 18-year-old self?
Everything that I got to experience at 18 was all the secular music, so it's exciting. But there's one band that always pops in my head. It's like, in my opinion, they're one of the most best bands of all times. And I'm still like, if I don't get to see them before I die, I'm going to cry. But it's Radiohead. So, and
Son, ditto. I've never seen them live. Yeah.
I'm really mad because I had an opportunity. My friend won a private she owned a ticket to a private session I did, a very tiny one. And she was like, oh, I want tickets. I was like, and she's like, yeah, I'm going to go, I guess. The next day, she goes, she's like, oh, I did build. I was like, you build on like it was like less than 100 people. I was like, you build on a private listening session with Radiohead? I was like shaking. I was like, why didn't you call me? She's like, oh, I was like, Radiohead, like, not great. Of course, it's all stuff, but Paranoid Androids. I mean, any thing they make is just phenomenal.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I think anything Radiohead, just put it on.
One of my sort of, I'm not going to call him a mentor in case he's listening, but I've got a good friend that I went to school with back in the UK. We've known each other since we were 7 or 8 years old, and he's a very popular podcaster in the UK. And he's also the manager and promoter of the longest running indie nightclub in the UK.
Oh, thanks.
Depeche Mode were their house band in the 90s, in the 80s. He has on his office wall the contract signed by Radiohead to support a band called Sultans of Ping FC for a crate of beer at his nightclub. Yeah, shout out Stu if you're listening, mate. Yeah. That is, one of the most amazing stories I've heard. And I know, because that's in my sort of area where I grew up, I wasn't there that night, but I know several people who were there that night who were just...
You're living vicarious.
Yes. Track 5 of your mixtape. What is a song you would put on your mixtape if you were making it up for someone you wanted to let know you were like romantically sort of interested in them? What would you go with there, mate?
See, I think that's so defined by the person. I can't pick one. It really comes down to, I hate to be like that, but I'm sorry, it's going to be a track by The Cure.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a song that meets the person.
Yeah.
Probably The Cure, though.
Yeah. So it'd be a Cure track. Anyone?
Who's a Cure fan?
In that category.
Friday I'm in Love is obviously classic.
Great choice, mate. Love a bit of Cure. Never need an excuse to play The Cure on the show.
Sure.
All right. Final track for your mixtape, Chad. Give us a deep cut, B-side, album track, something that you feel is maybe a little bit underappreciated.
So one of my favorite bands, they're from Ukiah, California. They claim to be from Berkeley. They're not from Berkeley. They're, a new wave, late 2000s, early 2000s. You know it?
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
So I was obsessed with it. And JP, their lead singer, is obsessed with The Cure. So if you find all their, in my opinion, the best live show of all time. I see The Cure, they were second best. And mine, wow. I did it. Yeah, all right. Okay. They have a song on, it's a B-side, or it's actually one of those hidden tracks after the...
Yeah. It's called, that's a lost art as well now in the Spotify age. Yeah.
God Pump in Sick Today. Deep cut, but also it's pretty popular. But it's like, everybody knows that's they're going to instantly a good song.
Fantastic. Great choice, Chad. We'll wrap it up there because that's an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. It's all good, mate. It's all good. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, Chad. Is mixtapedrinks.com.
Yes.
It's your website. If you're ever in Ho Chi Minh City, stop by. Mixtape Drinks is an absolute fantastic place to come.
And you could bring me an actual mixtape, I'll give you free deal. We have them.
If that ever happens, let me know.
See his collection.
Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape Podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape Podcast and Radio Show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered. And all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.